Aloha and welcome to Cooking with Dino Mama. Today I am making Pear Tartlett. This episode is not sponsored by anyone, and anything I use or that you see is what is available in my home or local grocery. The name Gillette, it may sound fancy, but I promise this is so simple. Start by preheating a large cast iron skillet. If you don't have cast iron, don't worry. Just use a regular large frying pan. But regardless, let it heat up for about 5 minutes or so before adding in your caramel ingredients. Then preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. While the oven preheats, we'll work on our caramel filling. In your large pan, stir together 3 tablespoons of coconut sugar with 2 tablespoons of water. Cook over medium heat for about 2 minutes. Meanwhile, either before you start the whole sugar process or while it's cooking, peel, cut, and core 4 pears. My pear cores were really stubborn and didn't want to be removed, so I brought in the knife for surgery. Don't be afraid to multitask, and if your sugar mixture is done before your pears, just turn the stove to low. This recipe is also amazing with apples. It's like a flaky apple pie and so good. I had some leftover pear, but I just ate it raw. That's the good thing about fruit, right? Delicious how it is, but better baked. Stir in 3 tablespoons of butter or butter substitute, such as olive oil or coconut based, your preference, followed by 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Remember, if you're squeezing straight into the pan, use your hand to catch the seeds. Hopefully, you don't have any cuts. Then stir again and just let it do its thing until the mixture turns into a nice golden brown. A 1938 paper by Claude Alberton on the geology of the Malone Mountains in West Texas made mention of large bone fragments in the area. This led a recent team of scientists to officially discover the first known Jurassic vertebrate fossils in Texas and fill a major gap in the state's fossil records. The weathered bone fragments are from the limbs and backbone of a plesiosaur, an extinct marine reptile that would have swum the shallow sea that covered what is now northeastern Mexico and far western Texas about 150 million years ago. I personally believe that the Loch Ness Monster is actually a plesiosaur. And now, back to our peers. Once the caramel is ready, place the pears in the sauce in a circle or in the design of your choice, so long as they all have space. Turn the heat to medium low and cook for about 4 to 5 minutes until the pears are fork tender. Now, you can use a puff pastry or a pie dough if you prefer. I'm always all about using what is available and what you have. I had leftover phyllo dough. Lay whatever type of dough you have down on a clean, dry surface. Cut the pastry into a large circle, about 1 inch larger than the pan you're using. So, if you have a 10-inch skillet, cut it 11 inches. If yours is 11 inches, cut it 12, and so on. Prick the pastry randomly with a fork and place the pastry over the top of the pan, like a lid. Gently tuck the overlap into the pan using a spatula. Phyllo dough is definitely not ideal, so I removed half of it since it was just so thick. Add a few pats of butter on top, or you can spray with a baking spray and sprinkle some raw sugar or coconut sugar and some cinnamon on top. Using oven mitts, transfer the pan to your preheated oven and bake until the pastry is puffed and golden, around 25 to 30 minutes. If you used a pie crust, you may want to give it an extra 5 to 10 minutes and wait until it's slightly browning so you know it's not raw. Let the pan cool for about 15 minutes before running a spatula around the edges of the skillet. Place a serving platter or large plate on top of the pan and very carefully invert the tart onto the plate, or just disregard all direction and do it my way. Make sure to use oven mitts. Cast iron pans take a while to heat, but once they do, they stay hot forever. The good thing is that even if the Gillette falls apart, it might not look beautiful, but it will still taste amazing. Rexy agrees. Allow it to cool for 5 more minutes, and then serve warm with whipped cream, vanilla sauce, or ice cream. Thank you for joining me today in Dino Mama's kitchen. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy, and remember, only nice people get sweets.